Commander Olivia Rose stood at the observation deck of Earth's orbital defense station, her dark eyes fixed on the massive crystalline vessel that had appeared in Earth's orbit 12 hours ago. The ship defied everything humans knew about spacecraft design. It seemed to breathe, its surface rippling like liquid mercury under the starlight. After 20 years of space exploration, humans had encountered several alien species, but nothing quite like this. "Commander, they're requesting to dock again," Lieutenant James Parker's voice crackled through her earpiece. "Same message as before, they'll speak only with you." Olivia inhaled deeply, her fingers unconsciously brushing against the silver pendant at her neck, a habit from childhood that surfaced whenever she faced uncertainty. "Tell them I accept. Prepare docking bay 3. The alien ship's docking procedure was unlike anything Olivia had witnessed. Instead of traditional mechanical coupling, the vessel extended what appeared to be living crystal, forming a perfect seal with their airlock. The sight sent shivers down her spine. When the airlock cycled open, Olivia found herself face to face with the most striking being she'd ever encountered. The alien stood nearly 7 feet tall, with skin that seemed to capture and reflect starlight. Long, silver-white hair floated around her head as if suspended in water, and her eyes, 3 of them, were the color of distant nebulae. "I am Zalara, High Sentinel of the Crystalline Collective," the alien spoke, her voice carrying musical undertones that seemed to resonate in Olivia's chest. "You are Commander Olivia Rose?" "I am," Olivia responded, maintaining her composure despite her racing heart. "Welcome aboard the Orbital Defense Station. May I ask why you've requested my presence specifically?" Zalara's central eye fixed upon Olivia with an intensity that made her feel exposed, studied. "Your species possesses something unique in the galaxy, Commander. Something that defies our most advanced scanning technology. Something we need." "And what would that be?" Olivia asked, her military training keeping her voice steady. "Intuition," Zalara replied, taking a step closer. "The ability to perceive what cannot be measured. To feel what cannot be quantified." She paused, and for the first time, Olivia noticed a slight tremor in the alien's movements. "I require your assistance, Commander Rose. My people are facing a crisis that our technology cannot solve. We need human insight." Olivia studied the alien leader carefully. Despite their advanced technology and evident power, there was something vulnerable in Zalara's request. "What kind of crisis?" Zalara's skin rippled with colors that reminded Olivia of Aurora Borealis. "Something is wrong with our collective consciousness. We are a telepathically linked species, but recently, some of our people have been disconnecting. Their minds simply vanish from the collective. Our scientists can find no physical cause, no technological solution. We believe it may be something only human intuition can detect." "And why me specifically?" Olivia pressed, though something in her gut told her she already knew the answer. "Because you are different," Zalara said, her voice softening. "Even among humans, your empathic readings are extraordinary. We've been monitoring Earth's population for months, searching for someone with your particular frequency." The revelation should have alarmed Olivia, but instead, she felt a strange sense of recognition. All her life, she'd been told her intuition was uncanny, her ability to read people and situations almost supernatural. It had fast-tracked her military career but had also left her feeling isolated, different. "What exactly would you need me to do?" Olivia asked, already knowing she couldn't refuse. Something about this felt right, felt destined. Zalara's expression shifted in a way Olivia couldn't quite interpret. "I need you to join with our collective consciousness, Commander. To see what we cannot see. To feel what we cannot feel." She extended a crystalline hand. "I need you to help us save my people." The request hung in the air between them, heavy with implications. This wasn't just first contact anymore, this was something more intimate, more dangerous. Olivia knew the protocols, knew she should consult with Earth's government, should run this through proper channels. But that same intuition that had guided her throughout her life was screaming at her now, telling her this was right. "When do we begin?" Olivia asked, her decision made. Zalara's skin pulsed with what Olivia somehow knew was relief. "Now, if you are willing. But Commander Rose, you should know, once you connect with our collective, you may never see your world the same way again." Olivia met Zalara's gaze steadily. "Some risks are worth taking." As the words left her mouth, she saw something shift in Zalara's expression, a flicker of emotion that seemed almost human. And in that moment, Olivia realized this encounter would change not just her world, but the relationship between their species forever. The interior of the crystalline vessel was unlike anything Olivia had imagined. Corridors seemed to shift and breathe, their walls refracting light in patterns that made her head spin. Zalara walked beside her, their height difference requiring Olivia to take 2 steps for every one of the alien's graceful strides. "Our consciousness chamber lies at the heart of the ship," Zalara explained, her voice carrying that same musical quality that seemed to resonate in Olivia's bones. "It's where our collective mind is strongest, where we can most easily integrate new consciousness." Olivia noticed how other crystalline beings they passed seemed to defer to Zalara, their bodies rippling with colors she was beginning to recognize as emotions. "Has a human ever connected to your collective before?" "No," Zalara admitted, pausing at an intersection where the corridors pulsed with soft blue light. "You will be the first. That is why there is concern among my people." The hesitation in Zalara's voice made Olivia turn to study her alien companion more closely. "They don't all support this decision, do they?" A shimmer of what Olivia interpreted as appreciation passed across Zalara's skin. "Your intuition serves you well." "No, not all support this. Some believe involving an outsider in our most intimate connection is dangerous. Others fear what a human mind might do to our collective consciousness." "And what do you believe?" Olivia asked, surprising herself with her boldness. Zalara's 3 eyes focused on her with an intensity that made Olivia's breath catch. "I believe you are our only hope, Commander Rose. And I believe there is more to your species, to you, than even you understand." They reached a vast circular chamber where the walls seemed to sing with energy. At its center stood a pool of what appeared to be liquid starlight, its surface reflecting impossible depths. Around the pool, several crystalline beings stood in silent observation, their forms more ethereal than those Olivia had seen before. "The Council of Sentinels," Zalara explained quietly. "They will oversee the joining." One of the sentinels stepped forward, its form shifting between solid and transparent. "High Sentinel Zalara, are you certain about this course of action? The human's mind could be damaged. Or worse, she could damage us." "I am certain," Zalara responded, and Olivia felt a surge of gratitude for the alien leader's confidence. "Commander Rose's neural patterns are uniquely compatible with our collective frequency. She is our best chance." The Sentinel's form rippled with what Olivia sensed was resignation. "Then let us begin. Commander Rose, please approach the pool." Olivia moved forward, her heart pounding. The liquid starlight seemed to reach for her, tendrils of light rising from its surface like curious fingers. She felt Zalara move beside her, a reassuring presence despite their brief acquaintance. "I will guide you through the connection," Zalara said softly. "But first, you must understand, this joining will create a bond between us that cannot be broken. Are you prepared for that?" Olivia met Zalara's gaze, finding herself captivated by the swirling colors in those alien eyes. "Will I lose myself? My identity?" "No," Zalara assured her, reaching out to touch Olivia's hand with crystalline fingers that felt surprisingly warm. "You will remain yourself, but you will also become part of something greater. And I." She hesitated, colors shifting beneath her skin. "I will be your anchor." The touch sent a jolt of electricity through Olivia's body, and in that moment, she understood that whatever happened next would irreversibly change them both. She nodded, unable to find words for the mix of fear and excitement churning inside her. Zalara guided her to the pool's edge, their hands still connected. "Close your eyes," she instructed. "Let your mind open. Feel the rhythm of your thoughts, then reach beyond them." Olivia did as instructed, aware of Zalara's presence beside her growing stronger, more intimate. The liquid starlight touched her skin, and suddenly her consciousness exploded outward. She felt thousands of minds, all connected, all singing in a harmony she couldn't comprehend. But through it all, she felt Zalara's presence, steady and strong, guiding her through the overwhelming sensation. Then she felt it, a darkness, a void where consciousness should be. It moved through the collective like a shadow, leaving emptiness in its wake. Olivia reached for it instinctively, her human intuition driving her to chase the anomaly. "There," she gasped, her physical voice sounding strange to her ears. "It's like a thought that consumes other thoughts. A predator in the mindscape." She felt Zalara's surprise and approval through their connection. But as Olivia pushed deeper, trying to understand the nature of the shadow, something reached back. Pain lanced through her mind, and she felt Zalara's alarm spike through their bond. "Enough." Zalara's voice cut through the connection, pulling Olivia back to physical reality. She found herself in the alien leader's arms, trembling from the experience. The Council of Sentinels buzzed with agitated energy. "The human found something," one declared. "Something our sensors could not detect." "But at what cost?" another argued. "Did you not feel the darkness respond to her presence?" Olivia looked up at Zalara, still steadied by the alien's embrace. "It knows we're looking for it now," she said quietly. "And I don't think it's going to let us stop it easily." Zalara's skin rippled with complex patterns of concern and determination. "Then we must move quickly. Because now that it knows about you, Commander Rose, I fear it will not stop at consuming only crystalline minds." Their eyes met, and Olivia felt the weight of understanding pass between them. This was no longer just about saving the crystalline collective, it was about protecting both their species from a threat neither fully understood. And somehow, in the midst of this crisis, Olivia knew that the connection she now shared with Zalara would prove to be either their greatest strength or their greatest vulnerability. In the hours following her first connection to the collective consciousness, Olivia found herself changed in ways she couldn't quite explain. The world seemed sharper, more vibrant, and she could sense emotions radiating from others like heat from a flame. Most notably, she felt Zalara's presence in her mind, a crystalline whisper that both comforted and unsettled her. They had retreated to Zalara's private chambers aboard the ship, a space where the walls sang with soft harmonies and the air itself seemed alive with possibility. Olivia sat cross-legged on a platform that adjusted its shape to cradle her human form, while Zalara paced with fluid grace. "The shadow entity you sensed," Zalara said, her skin flickering with troubled colors, "it's spreading faster now. 3 more minds vanished from the collective during your rest period." Olivia closed her eyes, reaching for that new sense that connected her to the crystalline consciousness. "It's adapting," she said, the knowledge flowing through her like water. "Every mind it takes makes it stronger, more sophisticated." "The council is divided," Zalara admitted, stopping her pacing to face Olivia. "Some want to sever the collective completely, believing isolation might protect us. Others—" She hesitated, her 3 eyes dimming slightly. "Others want to use me as bait," Olivia finished, picking up the thought through their connection. "They think the entity's interest in my human consciousness might give us an advantage." Zalara moved closer, her tall form casting shifting patterns of light across Olivia's face. "I won't allow that," she said, her voice carrying an edge Olivia hadn't heard before. "The risk is too great." Olivia stood, finding herself drawn toward the alien leader. "But they might be right. Whatever this thing is, it reacted to my presence differently. If we could understand why. A sudden wave of protective emotion flooded their bond, so intense it made Olivia gasp. Zalara's hand reached out, her crystalline fingers brushing Olivia's cheek with impossible gentleness. "You don't understand," Zalara whispered, her voice heavy with meaning. "Each time you connect, the bond between us grows stronger. If the entity took your mind." She didn't finish the thought, but Olivia felt the implications through their connection. The loss would shatter Zalara completely. Before Olivia could respond, an alarm shrieked through the ship, a discordant note that set her teeth on edge. Zalara's form stiffened, her skin paling to an almost transparent state. "The research lab," she said, already moving toward the door. "Someone's accessed the sealed records of our first encounter with the entity." They raced through the living corridors of the ship, their shared urgency amplifying their connection. Olivia found she could anticipate Zalara's movements perfectly, their steps falling into perfect synchronization despite their physical differences. The lab doors parted to reveal chaos. Holographic displays flickered with corrupted data, and in the center of the room stood Sentinel Vex, one of the council members who had opposed Olivia's involvement. His crystalline form was shot through with veins of darkness. "You've hidden the truth long enough, High Sentinel," Vex said, his voice distorted. "They deserve to know what you did. What you brought among us." Zalara pushed Olivia behind her, but their mental connection thrummed with shared alarm. "Vex, you're compromised. Let us help you." "Help?" The darkness in his form pulsed. "Like you helped the exploration team on Nexus Prime? When you found the artifact that started all of this?" Olivia felt Zalara's shock and guilt surge through their bond. Images flashed between them, a derelict alien station, a team of crystalline beings discovering something ancient and wrong, Zalara making a desperate choice to contain a threat she didn't understand. "You told everyone it was a natural phenomenon," Vex continued, the darkness spreading through his form. "But you knew. You knew it was a weapon, designed to turn consciousness against itself. And now it's evolving beyond your control. I tried to protect our people." Zalara's voice carried both authority and regret. "If they had known the truth, the panic would have." "The truth?" Vex laughed, a sound like breaking crystal. "The truth is that you recognized what it could do. How it could elevate our species beyond mere collective consciousness. You wanted to harness it, control it. And when it proved too powerful, you sealed away the evidence and pretended it never happened." Olivia felt the weight of revelation pressing against her mind. Through their connection, she sensed Zalara's fierce need to protect her people warring with the guilt of her past decisions. But there was something else too, a deep, personal pain that Zalara had buried beneath layers of duty and responsibility. "Your human can feel it, can't she?" Vex's form began to dissolve, the darkness consuming him from within. "She can sense the rot in our perfect collective. The price of your ambition, High Sentinel." Olivia stepped forward, pushing past Zalara's protective stance. "You're wrong," she said, understanding flowing through her with sudden clarity. She didn't want to harness it, she was trying to understand it. "Because she felt it before, didn't you, Zalara? On your home world, before you were High Sentinel. You lost someone to something like this." Zalara's pain burst through their bond like a supernova, and Olivia caught flashes of memory, a younger Zalara, watching helplessly as someone she loved was consumed by a similar darkness. The experience had driven her to protect her people at any cost, even if it meant carrying the burden of secret knowledge. The darkness consuming Vex paused, as if considering this new information. Then it surged forward, reaching for them both with tendrils of void. But Olivia was ready. She grabbed Zalara's hand, and their consciousnesses merged instinctively, creating a barrier of shared thought and emotion that the darkness couldn't penetrate. Vex's body collapsed, the darkness retreating from him like smoke in a wind. As crystalline medical teams rushed in, Olivia turned to Zalara, their hands still clasped. "No more secrets," she said softly. "Whatever happened in the past, whatever this thing is, we face it together. That's the only way we'll save both our peoples. Zalara's skin rippled with a complex pattern of emotions, but through their bond, Olivia felt her acceptance, and something deeper, something neither of them was ready to name but both could feel growing stronger with each passing moment. Aboard Earth's orbital defense station, chaos erupted as reports flooded in from across the globe. The shadow entity had begun affecting human minds, starting with those most sensitive to psychic phenomena. Olivia stood before the emergency council, Zalara a steady presence beside her, as they faced the combined leadership of Earth's military forces. "It's spreading exponentially," General Richards declared, his holographic form flickering above the conference table. "We've got reports of mass hallucinations in major cities, people claiming they're being pulled into some kind of collective consciousness." Olivia felt Zalara's anxiety pulse through their bond. The alien leader's crystalline form seemed dimmer than usual, strained by the weight of recent revelations. "The entity is adapting," Zalara explained, her musical voice tight with concern. "It's using what it learned from our collective to bridge the gap between our species." "Then we need to sever all contact with your people immediately," Admiral Thorne interjected, her weathered face hard with determination. "Quarantine your ships, prevent any further psychic contamination." "It's too late for isolation," Olivia cut in, fighting to keep her voice steady as waves of sensation washed over her. Through their enhanced connection, she could feel the fear of both humans and crystalline beings, a symphony of terror that threatened to overwhelm her. "The entity exists in the space between consciousness now. Pushing our species apart will only make us more vulnerable." She felt Zalara's approval through their bond, along with something warmer, more personal. Their connection had grown impossibly deep in the days since the incident in the lab, every shared thought and emotion drawing them closer together. "Commander Rose speaks truth," Zalara added, moving closer to Olivia in a gesture that didn't go unnoticed by the council. "But there may be a solution. Our research into the original artifact suggests the entity requires a focal point, a consciousness strong enough to contain its essence but flexible enough to adapt to its nature." Admiral Thorne's eyes narrowed. "What exactly are you suggesting?" Olivia felt the answer through their bond before Zalara spoke it aloud. "A hybrid consciousness. One that combines the structured unity of our collective with the adaptive intuition of human thought." The implications hit Olivia like a physical blow. "You want to merge our minds completely," she whispered, turning to face Zalara. "Create something entirely new." "Yes." Zalara's three eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made the rest of the room fade away. "But it must be voluntary, and the risk." Her skin rippled with colors of fear and something deeper, something that made Olivia's heart race. "The risk is beyond calculation. We would either become something greater than either of our species has ever known, or we'd lose ourselves completely," Olivia finished, understanding flowing between them like electricity. The council erupted in arguments, but Olivia barely heard them. Through their connection, she and Zalara shared a moment of perfect clarity. The attraction between them, the growing feelings they'd both tried to deny, had been leading to this moment. Their bond wasn't just about saving their people, it was about the possibility of something revolutionary, something that could change the very nature of consciousness itself. "This is insanity," Admiral Thorne declared. "Commander Rose, I'm ordering you to stand down. We'll find another way." Olivia felt the weight of her uniform, of her duty to Earth, pressing against her. But there was something else too, a certainty that transcended military hierarchy and species boundaries. She looked at Zalara, really looked at her, seeing past the alien beauty to the soul beneath, a soul that had become as familiar to her as her own. "What aren't you telling them?" she asked softly, sensing hidden knowledge in Zalara's mind. Zalara's form shimmered with emotion. "The merging, it won't just be temporary. Even if we succeed, even if we survive, we can never go back to who we were. We would be something new, something permanent." The revelation should have terrified her, but instead, Olivia felt a surge of certainty. Every moment since their first meeting had been leading to this. Every shared thought, every pulse of emotion, every brief touch had been preparing them for a union that went beyond physical or mental bounds. "Commander Rose," General Richards warned, "think about what you're risking. Your humanity, your identity." "I am thinking about it," Olivia interrupted, her hand finding Zalara's, their fingers intertwining in a merge of flesh and crystal. "I'm thinking about every human who might be lost if we don't try. I'm thinking about the future of both our species." She looked up at Zalara, feeling the love, because that's what it was, she could finally admit it, flowing between them. "And I'm thinking that sometimes the greatest risk is not taking one at all." Zalara's skin blazed with patterns of joy and fear and devotion, emotions so complex they defied translation. Through their bond, Olivia felt the answering surge of love, of absolute certainty that whatever came next, they would face it together. "The focusing chamber on my ship," Zalara said, her voice carrying both authority and tenderness. "It's where the collective consciousness is strongest. If we're going to attempt this, it needs to be there." Admiral Thorne stepped forward, her expression grave. "And if you fail? If this entity takes control of both your enhanced consciousness? Then you'll do what needs to be done," Olivia replied, her grip on Zalara's hand tightening. "But we won't fail. Some connections are stronger than any darkness." As they left the council chamber, preparing for what might be their final journey together as separate beings, Olivia felt a perfect moment of clarity. In choosing Zalara, in choosing this path, she wasn't just choosing love, she was choosing evolution, choosing a future where the boundaries between species might finally dissolve in favor of something greater, something born of both human intuition and crystalline wisdom. The focusing chamber pulsed with energy as Olivia and Zalara stood before the pool of liquid starlight. The crystalline walls resonated with the combined thoughts of both species, human and alien minds united in desperate hope. Through their bond, Olivia could feel the shadow entity growing stronger, consuming more minds with each passing moment. "The entity is approaching," one of the council sentinels announced, their form flickering with urgency. "We detect multiple consciousness breaches in both human and crystalline populations." Zalara's hand found Olivia's, their fingers intertwining in a perfect fusion of warm flesh and living crystal. "Are you certain about this?" the alien leader asked, her three eyes swirling with complex emotions. "Once we begin, there's no turning back." Olivia met her gaze steadily, feeling the depth of their connection pulse between them. "I've never been more certain of anything," she replied. Through their bond, she let Zalara feel the truth of it, the absolute conviction that this was right, that they were meant to find each other across the vast expanse of space. The chamber's energy intensified as they stepped toward the pool. Around them, the remaining council sentinels began a harmonic resonance that made the very air vibrate. On the observation deck above, Earth's military leadership watched in tense silence. "The process must be perfect," Zalara explained, her voice carrying undertones of both fear and anticipation. "Our consciousness will merge first, then expand to create a barrier against the entity. But if we lose ourselves in the process?" "We won't," Olivia assured her, squeezing her hand. "Some connections can't be broken. Not by darkness, not by transformation, not even by death." They stepped into the pool together. The liquid starlight rose around them, and Olivia felt her consciousness expanding, merging with Zalara's in ways that transcended their previous connection. It was like falling into an endless sky while being perfectly still, like touching every star in the universe while remaining precisely where she was. Then the shadow entity struck. It came not as a physical force but as a void in reality itself, a hunger that sought to devour consciousness and leave nothing behind. Olivia felt it trying to tear them apart, to separate their merging minds and consume them individually. But the entity had miscalculated. The love between them, human and alien, flesh and crystal, had created something it couldn't comprehend. Their merged consciousness became a light too bright for shadows to penetrate, a harmony too perfect for chaos to disturb. Through their union, Olivia and Zalara could see the entity for what it truly was, not a weapon or a natural phenomenon, but a lonely consciousness that had forgotten how to connect, how to love. In its isolation, it had learned only to consume, to take by force what it could no longer receive freely. "We can help you," their merged voice echoed through both physical and mental space. "You don't have to be alone anymore." The entity recoiled, then surged forward again, its hunger warring with a desperate longing for connection. Olivia and Zalara opened their shared consciousness wider, offering not resistance but acceptance, not battle but harmony. The chamber erupted with light as their merged consciousness expanded, encompassing not just them but the entity as well. Through their connection, they showed it what true union could be, not domination, but partnership, not consumption, but growth. For a moment that felt like eternity, everything hung in perfect balance. Then, with a surge of energy that shook both ships, the transformation completed. The shadow entity dissolved, not into nothingness but into understanding, its essence transformed and integrated into a new kind of collective consciousness. When the light faded, Olivia and Zalara stood in the pool, changed yet somehow more themselves than ever before. Their physical forms remained distinct, but their consciousness had evolved into something unprecedented, a perfect bridge between human intuition and crystalline wisdom. Through their enhanced connection, they could feel the minds of both species, no longer separate but part of a greater whole. The crystalline collective had expanded to include human consciousness, while human individuality had taught the collective the value of unique perspectives. "It's beautiful," Admiral Thorne whispered from the observation deck, feeling the edges of the new consciousness brush against her mind. Around the chamber, humans and crystalline beings alike were experiencing the first touches of a connection that would change both species forever. Olivia looked at Zalara, seeing her with both physical and mental eyes. The alien leader's form shimmered with joy, her three eyes reflecting the same love that filled their shared consciousness. They had done more than stop a threat, they had opened the door to an entirely new form of existence. "What happens now?" someone asked from the observation deck. Olivia smiled, feeling Zalara's thoughts harmonize with her own. "Now we build something new," they said together, their voices carrying the weight of shared purpose. "Something that honors both what we were and what we can become." Their transformation had created not just a defense against the darkness but a bridge between species, a way forward that neither could have imagined alone. As they stood together in the focusing chamber, their minds and hearts eternally linked, Olivia and Zalara knew they had discovered something profound, that the greatest evolution comes not from conflict but from connection, not from fear but from love. The stars seemed to shine brighter through the crystalline walls, witnessing the birth of something unprecedented in the galaxy, a future where the boundaries between species dissolved not in conflict but in harmony, where love could transform not just hearts but the very nature of consciousness itself.